Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about the Micro Mini Educator by Ecollar Technologies. This is a 2-dog unit, and so the first thing that I'm going to start with is your remote control. You will also have 2 collars in this box along with the charger, and I'm going to show you how to use everything, but just the basics so that you can get started right away. For your remote control, these are the stimulation buttons that you're going to be using. You will use a black one that corresponds to the black collar, and then the red button corresponds to the red collar. This is your dial for stimulation. It goes from 0 to 100, 100 being the highest level. We are starting out on super low levels. We call them the working levels. It's the lowest level that your dog feels on the collar, and then we go from there. This is the antenna. This particular model has a 1/3 mile radius if you're outdoor and off leash. On the back here is your on off button, and you press that on until this LCD screen lights up in the front, and then you'll see that blinking green light. That means the unit is on. This is where you will charge the remote. You plug in your charger, and then you plug it into the remote and the collars, charge them at the same time. They charge in 2 hours. Do not overcharge them. I like to charge them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just so I know that they are on a schedule, and they always have battery life then. So that's your remote control, and then you'll see there's this red line. If you're looking at your remote and you see that red line, that means you're at 0. And then to dial up, this is how you dial up. I use one hand. I dial up and then I give stim, dial up, give stim, dial down, give stim. That I use one hand. Some people like to get their mechanics down by dialing and then they hit the button, and it's just a matter of you practicing with this every single day. When you are with your dog, put the collar on and use the e-collar. That's how you get your mechanics down, and that's how your dog gets conditioned to the sensation of that, the tingle, all right, the stimulation. So now I'm going to just start with any collar. Just pick a collar. You're going to take this red dot on the remote and this red dot here on the collar, and you're going to match them up. And when you do that, you'll see this little light turn on. When it's green, it's on, and when it's red, the unit is off. So just see how I did that? Light. When you give stim on the black collar, you will be using the black button. And when you hit that button, you see that the remote and the collar light up. You will see this light up on your dog when you hit that button. If you don't see it light up and you're hitting the button, that means it's not turned on or the battery is dead. When the collar needs charging, that light will blink orange, and then it will blink red and then turn off. So just make sure when you see it blinking orange, charge it. Okay? And so that's your black collar. Same thing with your red collar. You're going to turn it on by swiping those 2 dots together. Make sure I can show you that. There, that's off. There you go. That's on. And then you're going to hit that red button and make sure that you see that light up. Grab one of your 2 dogs. The other one should be crated or out of the room minding its own business while you do this. You want no distractions. You're going to size the collar for your dog. So you're looking for proper fit. It should be super snug, and you want it at either 4 o'clock on the neck or 8 o'clock. Imagine this is a clock, 4 o'clock or 8 o'clock. And it should be snug enough so that that box does not move from this area. You'll need to peel back the fur. If it's long fur, you need to peel it back so that these contact points are nestled nicely on the skin. Make sure that you're periodically checking the skin for any irritation when you start using the collar on your dog. Rotate it once a day so that there is no irritation. So if you start here and here, when you're with your dog, the collar is on your dog. That's very important. And for proper fit, you want to make sure that when it's on your dog, you fit 2 fingers underneath that collar strap. If you can go like this, it's too big. You do not want any extra room in this collar. It should be snug. charge your collars, you are pulling out the rubber stop on each collar has a stop like that. You pull it out, you take the charger and you plug it in. Both collars and remote need to be charged. And then here's your remote. Just peel back that little rubber plug it in, plug in the other collar, and then you just plug everything in for 2 hours and it charges. And you'll see when it's fully charged, these lights will light up green right here. When you plug it in and it needs juice, it's going to be red. And then when it's fully charged, it'll be green. You're good to go in 2 hours. Little feature is this button right here. It's a toggle switch, and it'll toggle from one collar to another when you want to put the light on. So right now there's a 2D that's flashing. You cannot see it, but it is corresponding to the second dog. This is a 2-dog unit. So here's 1 dog and here's 2 dog. So right now it's flashing on 2D. That's the red collar. So that means that if I press this light button back here, which is also the on-off switch, you'll see this nice little light for outside. If you happen to go outside for a walk at night, it'll strobe for you, and it will. If you hit it again on that remote, it's a solid light. Hit it a 3rd time, it turns off the light, but the collar remains on, because the only way to turn off your collar, remember, is by this red button or dot being matched up with this red dot. That's the only way to turn off and on the collar. If you toggle from 2 dog to 1 dog, you just basically are hitting this button to get to, you hit it twice to get to the first collar, 1 dog, and then you're going to turn on that light by hitting this on-off switch and the light switch. Hit it again, there's your solid. Hit it a 3rd time and that turns it off. So that's your light feature. I really like that feature at night if you're going for a walk, or if you put your dog out in the backyard, and that way you can track them, and they can also see. It gives them some light. So those are some nice features. You can lock a number in by pressing this down, and that way you're locked in on a certain number of stem. I do not use this feature. I'm just making you aware of it, because sometimes we accidentally will push this down and you won't even realize it, but you'll see, wow, I'm dialing up and it's stuck on 15 even though I'm dialing. That's because this got pressed down. So this is just a little troubleshooting for you. You can unlock that number by pressing the dial down, and then that way you're free to go. So if you want to lock a number in, you do that. If you want to unlock it, you just press it down again until it unlocks. Okay. So that's that nice little feature that I, again, don't use much, because I'm always watching my dog. I don't want to lock in on a number, because as soon as a distraction enters the picture, you're going to have to dial up on this. You are not always going to be on one number only when you're working with your dog. So you decide what numbers you're going to be on, okay? There's this little button here. I just want to make you aware, if you happen to press this in, it changes the setting from continuous, which is what these collars are set at, is continuous, meaning for as long as I hold down this button, this is giving pressure or stimulation, and it times out after a minute. So for example, I will hit and hold that button. You see that red light on the collar? What the dog feels is pressure, 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 and it times out after a minute. That's continuous. If this button gets pressed in, you'll see an M on the screen instead of a C. C is for continuous, M is for momentary. That means no matter how long I hold this button down for, the dog gets a nanosecond of pressure, right? And that is not ideal, because this much pressure isn't really teaching the dog anything. It's too short of a spurt. So make sure that you're on continuous. And sometimes this button will get pressed in accidentally. They're kind of easy to lock in and to press in. So just be heads up. You're always looking for a C on that LCD screen, and you can hardly see it, but there it is. Of the e-collar, most important thing is that you put the collars on your dogs when you are with them, and that you are using this to get your mechanics down. You want this to be second nature for you. The more you use this, the more you'll get better at it, and your dogs will become conditioned to the stimulation, that sensation. So make sure that you are consistent with using this collar, and if you have questions, let me know.